2 turntables, a microphone, and 9 coaching candidates for the Phoenix Suns. Started off as, 15 to 20? We didn't have all those names then. We do now. It's down to 9 names.
Down to 9. They have not begun interviews for the second round as of right now.
Okay.
They will begin this week, so that I can tell you. They have not even began the interview process for the second round, but they will do the second round starting this week.
So we'll just lead off the segment with this.
Yes.
What do you expect the time? We'll get to the names and we'll talk about it here in just a second, I promise. So this week, round 2 of the interviews.
Round 2.
What do you think the time frame is for the next narrowing of the field?
Down to 3 or 4 next week.
Next week. Okay.
Down to 3 or 4 next week. As I reported a week or two ago, that this is going to go into late May, early June.
Right.
So that's what I'm expecting. So this week will be. So I think that the interviews will take you through the weekend, and then I think next week you'll have a list of 3 or 4, and at that point, like, more people will be involved in the interview process, and I think you'll have a decision either very, very late May or early June. You'll have a decision on who the next head coach of the Phoenix Suns will be.
So initially it was 8 names that were reported upon by NBA insider Chris Haynes. Mark Stein said, yes, those are confirmed. Then there was later a 9th name that was put out there by Jake Fisher. Then you took to Twitter to confirm all of the names, and you basically said the list is right? This is about the right list that we've got here. So here we go. Here are the 9 as we know it. Mavs assistant Sean Sweeney, current Suns assistant David Fizdale, current Pelicans assistant, former head coach with the Pelicans and interim coach with the Magic, James Borrego, Johnny Bryant, current Cavs assistant, Jordan Ott, current Cavs assistant, Steve Hetzel, current Nets assistant, Micah Nori, current T-Wolves assistant, Dave Bliss, current OKC assistant, Chris Quinn, current Heat assistant coach.
Let me give you some names that I think Fizdale's a long shot. I think Borrego's a long shot too. So I'll just consider those guys long shots.
Okay.
I think that the guys that could survive this round, I'll give you my opinion here, guys who could survive this next round and get to the finals, I would look at the assistant from Miami, Chris Quinn.
Okay.
I heard he had a terrific interview, very impressive. I think he's got a shot to really advance. I'll also look at Nori, the current T-Wolves assistant, and I'll look at him as a guy. Him and Sweeney were together in Detroit. Nori was in Minnesota. He actually took over when Finch got hurt as the head coach.
I remember.
Of the Timberwolves.
Did a very good job.
Finch got hurt. Did a very good job. So I would look at Micah Nori as a guy who I think could advance to another round. I'm going to look at Jay Kidd's assistant, Sean Sweeney, who they interviewed a couple of assistants. They actually interviewed Jared Dudley as well. Jared Dudley was interviewed for this job. Sean Sweeney, the Mavs assistant, he's a good coach. He is a defensive-minded coach. So he's big on defense. I think Sweeney has a real good shot of advancing. Really bright young coach, good up-and-comer. And then the guy was with the Nets, Jordan Ott, Cavs assistant. I think he's got a shot as well. He is much more of an offensive-minded guy, so I think he's got a shot. If you're looking for offense, I think Ott's that guy. Sweeney is more defense.
Okay.
Quinn is the ex-player in the group. So if you're looking for an ex-player, somebody who played in the league, that's the advantage that Quinn would have, is that he was in the league for a while.
Okay. Do you have any? I've got a few thoughts on these. Do you have a few thoughts on these?
I'm trying to narrow it to 3. I think Fizdale and Borrego are long shots. I'm not sure on Bryant, Hetzel. Got to do a little more homework. Bliss as well. But again, I think Quinn's got a real good shot. He's been in that system for a long time. He, when you're in that system, right, that Miami system, really benefits you. People love that culture. He's going to be, he would be good. Nori's a big personality guy. He'd be if you thought Budenholzer had a terrible relationship with the media, you would like Norrie because he's going to have a great relationship. He's a real outgoing personality.
Right. You hit on three of the names that stood out to me on this list the most. One was Sean Sweeney, as a longtime assistant with the Mavs, a lot of success there, a lot of defensive sort of focus with the Dallas Mavericks, always with everything they do. He certainly is accustomed to coaching stars, being around stars. I don't know how many stars he's going to be around with the Phoenix Suns. That's something that's up for debate, but certainly that's something that when Chris Haynes on the Haynes brief was talking about these guys, he mentioned specifically about Sean Sweeney.
Dallas Mavericks assistant, Sean Sweeney. Sean Sweeney, a longtime assistant. He's somebody who is well respected across the league, spent time with multiple stars. He understands the relationship dynamic that takes. So Sean Sweeney has advanced to the second round.
He understands the dynamic that it takes. Now, you can argue so did Frank Vogel. He was around LeBron James. So did Mike Budenholzer. He was around Giannis. Obviously, it didn't work with the stars the Suns had and those two guys. I really like Chris Quinn. I heard the morning show guys today mention this, and yeah, the Heat culture thing gets talked about a lot. Mm-hmm. It gets talked about a lot because it works, okay? It's worked a lot and very well the last 10, 15 years or so. To pluck a guy from that when you're looking to change culture and attitude and things like that, I very much like that.
And a former player. I mean, he played for Miami, he played for the Nets, played for the Spurs. So Quinn gives you, I was a former player in the league not too long ago. He's done his time. He's actually been an assistant with the Heat for 11 years. 11 years. So I think Quinn's got a really good shot. I think he has a really good show. These are just names I'm giving you I think can advance to the next round. I gave you four guys who I think have a possibility to advance. We'll see what they come up with. Maybe they've got maybe somebody blows them away in the second interview. But again, they haven't even begun the second interviews yet. So it's hard to say which guys are going to advance. I'm just giving you some nuggets on stuff that I heard, guys who had great interviews.
Micah Norrie is really, really interesting to me. I'm glad to hear that he might make the short list on this one potentially, and not just because he's good with the media, but he obviously comes from success. I mean, a lot of these guys I'm looking at, Chris Quinn comes from success. Dave Bliss, current Thunder assistant, comes from success. Micah Norrie comes from success. Like, I think some of that does matter a little bit. I'm glad to hear David Fizdale is a long shot. That one didn't make it. That one to me is like, if you're really talking about changing things, do you want to hire the guy who's been the assistant for the last two failed coaches? That doesn't make any sense. And I also think it doesn't make any sense to hire Fizdale when, if you really, really wanted to,
you could have hired him and fired.
You could have fired Bud with 3 months to go in the season and give Dave Fizdale a shot. You didn't do it.
I think he's a long shot. Again, hasn't had second interviews yet, so I really can't say for sure. But I would say,
I'm just telling you what I think. I'm just telling you what I think.
Yeah, Fizdale Borrego, I would think would be long shots, and I agree. Like, you had a chance.
You had a chance at him
to fire Budenholzer and make Fizdale the coach, and you would have gotten an example. Like, you would have been able to see what he could do as the head coach.
Yeah,
and you didn't do it.
The two guys that are very interesting on this list, and I just wonder if the Suns would have the guts to do it. Jordan Ott is a Michigan State guy. Steve Hetzel is a Michigan State guy. They both have ties to the Spartans. And if they do it, boy, those guys better be overqualified for the job to be the head coach. Because if not, it's just going to be more, Michigan State. And if they hire either one of those guys, they better be prepared for a whole bunch of, Michigan State pushback on that, right?
Sure.
Which just, I knew there was going to be a Michigan State guy on the list. If it ends up being either Hetzel or Jordan Ott, I hope the organization is prepared for the storm that is coming for hiring a Michigan State guy, because it'll come under intense scrutiny if that's the guy who gets the gig, Gambo. You know it.
I've heard better stuff on Ott than Hetzel.
Okay.
So I've heard better stuff on Ott than Hetzel. And again, I still think that Sweeney's a great candidate, Quinn's a great candidate, and Norrie's a great candidate. They'll advance it to 3 or 4. They'll advance it to 3 or 4 next week. And we'll see what list comes out, and we'll come back to what we're talking about now and see if any of those guys are on it.
Only 2 of them have had head coaching experience, David Fizdale and James Borrego. They're all young. The oldest candidates are in their early 50s or late 40s. Most of them are in their early 40s, late 30s. So in some ways, and we'll talk more later about kind of what the Suns are looking for out of this. It falls in line with what we've talked about in the past.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.